Alhamdulillah, ahmaduhu wasta'inuhu wastadihi wastaghfiruhu wa uminu bihi jalla wa ala wa la akfuruhu wa ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu. Arsalahu bil huda wa dinil haqq liyudhhirahu ala din kullihi walau karihal mushrikun. All praise belongs to Allah. We praise Him, we seek His help, His assistance, and His guidance. We believe in Him and do not disbelieve in Him. I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam is His servant and messenger. Allah sent him, that is Muhammad, with Deen al-Haq, the religion, the way, the methodology of truth. This way of life known as Islam will rise to its proper position in this world, whether the mushriks like it or not. Alhamdulillah. So this is the reason we wanted to get everything recorded for today is because we'll be going to California very soon. And we've been headed that way for a month and a half. But alhamdulillah, we get there when Allah wants us to get there, and we're happy to get there if we arrive. The thing that we wanted to do is we wanted to make a CD for California, for Oakland, California in particular. So today is particularly for them, because there's a lot of things going on, and there's a lot of immigrants who came into Oakland. We call them outer-towners, and there's been a lot of things that's going on that people either don't understand, don't want to understand, or pretend not to understand. For instance, if I come there and I say the Masjid is closed, Mukhtar will bring some people, that don't know nothing about nothing, or they pretend not to. And they'll stand in front of the Masjid and say, this is the house of Allah, you can't close the house of Allah, you are a non-believer, and all of that stuff. So lately I'd pass out a few of the crescents, that say what happened. Then they'd shut up and go away. Then later on another crew would pop up. As though we're here, this is the house of Allah, you can't close it. And so I would tell them, well, if you want to hear what's going on, say, you think these clowns here are believers? No, you a non-believer. You standing in the way of you closing Allah's house. I said, well, these coons come with their guns and they dismember everything, and so in order to avoid messing with them, we're closing the masjid until we get ready to open it. Till we get ready to open it. Not till you get ready for it to be open. And so we want this to be a little CD. I'll try to DVD to move ahead so it'll get posted so people will know a little bit about the brief history of the Masjid and how we view things that are going on in Oakland. First of all, the Masjid opened in 1980. Came out of prison, and within 3 weeks we had opened up a masjid. And my brother had rented the building for us while, I was in prison. I came on a furlough in 1979, Christmas time, and I was looking for a masjid, and we couldn't find a building. I was only out 4 days for a furlough, so I asked my brother to look for one. He got one just before a month I got out, and then we cranked up and opened it up. Right away we went under the screen of the United States government, and we had what we called encirclement and from out-of-towners right away. In other words, people came from out of town and they were hanging around. They were part of the Masjid. Some of the people that had been in Oakland a little while, they claimed to be associated with the Dar al-Islam movement. Okay, they hung out, they became active around there. In fact, they had went to Hajj with the Dar in 1980 or 79. I come to find out who they were, that they were there for that reason, to monitor, to stay in contact with what's going on, and try to misdirect us, mainly to try to control. Another thing happened. One brother used to be an Imam in Cleveland. He said he'd been living in the Masjid with his wife up in Portland, a white girl, not in Portland, in Eugene, Oregon. So they heard about us and they popped down. And when I opened the door, they busted in like, yeah, we need to stay here. He was staying in the Masjid in Eugene. They heard about our Masjid, so they came down. What I'm trying to say is the government already had people placed around the country on the West before the Islamic movement even got there. So when we got there, they had their people already in place because they knew the trend that Islam was moving from the East Coast to the center, Kansas City and on, finally, the West Coast. Because the Sunnah was not well known at all. Those of us who had been a part of the Nation of Islam and the chief was moving slow at that time. The chief, we was praying and all that, but the chief was still into the flying cockatrice, and old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-E-I-O, and you don't know what E-I-E-I-O means. Son, Sam, son, all of that stuff. So anyway, only thing about the brother come to was the Imam in Cleveland, so he said he had a white girl with him, and he would run off and leave the white girl there with me. And she was a healthy, shaped white lady. She was now I'm just out of penitentiary, living according to Islam. Now this white girl in there blinking her eyes at me, just suppose she said something. Now who's gonna believe a Negro Imam in 1980 that he ain't having nothing to do with this lady? So I told him they had to leave. Then some of the people around said, oh, this is horrible. I said, no, I said we can't have, people flooding. In those days, people stayed in the Masjid a lot, So I said, we can't have that. Now we help you get hooked up somewhere else. Now, 2-3 years later, when we had moved and opened a new Masjid, she calls at midnight, it's pouring down rain, would you come and take me over to so-and-so? I said, white lady, I'll send you a cab, but I'm not coming picking up no white woman at 12 o'clock at night and it's pouring down rain. Those are sexual moments. People know that you want to get cozy, it's raining outside, can't nobody see nothing, all that stuff. These people is deadly. They're shaitan. See, at that time, they did that a lot, because they think, well, the guy is single. They watch you to make sure. Now, they know you're not messing around because they paying attention. So they figure, you keep messing around and somebody will click. It never did, alhamdulillah. I have the record for Negro Imams that didn't mess around. Over 15 years. There ain't no niggas, excuse me, none of the brothers that you know of stayed straight for no 15 years. And they in their prime, running the hills, lifting iron, eating health food and everything, and full of fire. And at that time I was from 36 to till I got to about 50. Yeah, well, it's lasted longer than that, But anyway, so let's continue. So we got through that period. So 1983 to 1986 was the orbiting around period. Now at that time, Abdul Malik and people like that were what we call orbiting around. Before, as saboteurs and snitches would come around, we would wait a while, then we would get rid of them. And the process was so regular, we said there's no sense in getting rid of them because they keep coming. What we'll do, Abdul Malik then was the first one. We say, we're going to keep these guys. We're not going to, said we can't make good progress, we can't get standard procedure, all of those things, if we keep kicking everybody out. Now, it's not our fault, it's the people that they're sending around government agents, and they act like government agents. And most of them was from the East Coast. I mean, at that time, if somebody came in the Masjid wearing a thobe, which was popular in those days, and doing all the Sunnah prayers and everything, we say, watch that guy, that's the police there. You know, that's because it was, you know, it was so much going on. Anyway, so there was another crew, about 83. They came from Baitul Deen. Baitul Deen was, I don't know if y'all remember Fadullah Haili. He was a sheikh from Iraq. And in Blanco, Texas, they had a big piece of land, built a beautiful masjid, swimming pool, and everything. This is in the late 70s and early 80s. It was called Baitul Deen. Well, you know the police gonna flood that. So they sent a whole crew down there. And the crew was the Negro was in charge. There was two of them. One was Ali Abdul Malik, and the other one was Brother Raouf. Same East Coast Negroes, you know. Now, I asked them what their sheikh was. They told me he was a Sufi Sunni Shia sheikh. So after that, I said, that's it there. That'll do. In other words, you know something is up. Their job, they came with the Shia thing, and the little kids, they brought the whole families. They brought all the people that hit us, they brought a team with them. There's never one or two people. When they come in teams and waves. If you think around on 8th Street, all the people was in waves. There was never one guy. So when China Boy left, when Ali and them left, when even our so-called friends left, they all came together and they left together. Or they came in waves. So they've never confronted us one-on-one. Here or nowhere, you've never seen just one person gonna come. And so that was the period of orbiting around. In other words, as we got rid of one crew, there was always 2 or 3 other crews coming and get to know us. They come, like I say, this is a Sunday meeting, and we're familiar. As soon as we get with a run crew, then they come in as a stable. We called it orbiting around, because there was always Negroes orbiting around our community. And so about 86 and 85, 86, we had gotten rid of the last early group. And, you know, so after that we said, okay, we'll just keep everybody, and we'll, this is where strategic management under conditions of repression come in, that we'll manage and we'll incorporate them into the community, and we'll have them help us develop community. And we did that. So this other crew, Ali Abdul Malik was he brought a whole crew from Baitul Deen. His mission was to divide us up. We had wonderful cooperation with the Shia community. And the main headquarters was right there, was Berkeley. So Berkeley, San Francisco, the LA crew was the main, except for DC, the strongest Shia crew, student faction, you know, Iranian brothers and sisters, they had strong factions around. Houston was strong, LA, you know, they had different universities. It was all centered around universities at that time, because that was, before the revolution, there was thousands and thousands of Iranian students here. But after the revolution, when they would go back, they had to stay, or they was making it hard for new ones to come. Anyway, so they sent Ali Abdul Mani and them, Ali Abdul Malik and that crew, as to try to divide us up between the Shia community and us, the Sunni community, or the black community, and it didn't work. Long story short, it didn't work at all, and eventually they left. Then another crew comes in. This crew is Brother Suleiman and all of them, and they all had the same pattern. They established a little center next on the other side of town, and they have a staff with them. See, we're the only ones that have to work and develop a staff. They come with a staff. They always, see, if you got 3 or 4 people working with you, you can do literally anything you want. They always came with a staff. The other thing they all did was to become friendly with the people that came around our community. And eventually, when they left, they would try to take those people with them, because all these people would be new. All these people from the East Coast, we know about Islam, they don't know about Islam, and they dope dealers or anything. But it would work, it worked here. So, eventually, we just kept working. In those days, we traveled a lot to different universities. We traveled a whole lot. That travel was a good deal. The reason I showed y'all that spark plug and all that before, because if you got one of them big old V8s at that time, and you got a couple of the spark plugs fixed like that, it's going to run rough, you know, and if you don't know what it is, you think, well, I need a new engine or something. Anyway, we found out what it was, but they didn't want us to travel. Here's the thing what traveling did. Traveling brought us to every city in America. And within a year's time, we had to gain on the Islamic movement in North America. We had to gain. We went everywhere. We was in New Orleans, we was in New York, we was a couple of 2-3 years, we got to gain. And one thing we realized, that everybody around Iranians was the police. That was clear. This is just clear. But for us now, we're coming from movement. We already knew that's automatic. But it's difficult for one person to say, hey man, all them Negroes with y'all is the police. Of course, I started saying it 10, 15 years later, but the damage is done. But that was a problem, and it was a problem with us today, up until a while back, that it's different. The people who are active have a different experience, or the targets have a totally different experience than the non-targets. Just the innocent people who want to say, oh, okay, those people who are enemies of Islam are going to be friendly with you, friendly with those people. And they're going to pretend to be friendly with me too for a while, but their goal is to pull y'all away and to encircle that person, whoever the person is a target. Okay, in 1983, I was down in Atlanta, and Imam Jamil was the first visible African-American Islamic community. I really liked it. It was not you couldn't move in there now, but in those days, you get a house 10, 15, 20 grand. And now I think they 300,000, 400,000. It's like everywhere else. So we was very friendly with Imam Jamil. Now, Imam Jamil had inherited the Dar al-Islam movement. You have to remember, 1980, 81, 82, they're trying to destroy the Dar al-Islam movement. By 1983, it is destroyed. Imam Jamil inherits the Dar al-Islam community because he was a part of the Dar al-Islam movement. Now, in the mid-70s, I was active with the Dar al-Islam movement, although I was with the Nation of Islam and the chief in Leavenworth. They introduced me to the Sunnah. You know, I was still with the chief, but I was praying properly and all of that. And so, the Dar al-Islam movement, everywhere you would go, it would be some Negroes talking about, yeah, they would be using the Dar al-Islam movement's name because it was the credible, and then Islamic Party here. By 83, all of them was finished. By 83, the brothers here have moved, you know, like Abdul Haq now, they done went to, where did they go, down in the islands? They was gone because they had had so much trouble here and they didn't understand. Remember, our movements in those days was aware of the beast, as we call the white man, but they were not sophisticated enough to withstand the fitna. The only reason we was able to withstand it is because we had already went through it 2 cycles. Been overseas, been in South America, been here, and we know the trend. So no matter what they did to us, we was able to survive, but nobody else did. So our goal in those days was to help Imam Jamil revive the Dar al-Islam movement concept, community. That's why in our literature, remember we said, Masjid, school, business, and living close together, geographical integrity. When you would go to Imam Jamil's community, you would see the Masjid, little stores up there on the corner, the same stuff they had, you know, and then basketball court across the street, and they had a nice little community. And I said, man, this is beautiful. Everybody talking about As-Salamu Alaikum and all that. He said, they're not with me. He said, in other words, he knew that all the people was a government agency, or most of it. I also told Imam Jamil, man, the foreigners been acting funny, and I told him what was going on. He said, there's a memo out. But by that time, it's Islam. To not pay attention to calling African Americans to Islam, call white folks to Islam. And they wanted to be, remember, they're all doctors and chiefs. If you go by the MSA and the ISNA, they all come off the campus. They're all professionals. All of their kids right now have all graduated, their grandchildren have graduated. They didn't have the same view of Islam that we did. They wanted to integrate into America. We wanted to separate from America. Okay, so by the mid-80s, we say, well, we're going to accept the people that come to, so we accepted Abdul Malik when he came over. He came from the University of San Francisco State, and he came with his little line. He said, I'm a Malcolmist. I said, well, you already know more about Islam than Malcolm knew, so we practice the Quran and Sunnah, and if you wanted to be up on Malcolm, this is the best place to get it, because we took off from where he left off, and he he's our role model and all of that, okay? So now we get to 86 to 89, so we allow Abdul Malik to get involved with the community, or eventually from 84 up till 88 and 89, on a management level, you know, he could give khutbahs and stuff, and if I left for a while, if I went overseas, he could give khutbah. So he was helping. Okay, so he followed the line right in time until I left in 1989 and came here. Within a month of me leaving, all the Iranians was gone from the masjid. See, the Iranians was part of the masjid. I mean, they didn't live around the area, but all their programs, the only place they could have programs on the West Coast or in Northern California was our masjid. You know, they couldn't have them in no other masjid. So when we raised money, outside of our own personal money, Iranians helped us more than anybody else. They actually helped us build and remodel and everything, you know. In fact, it's set up on a drawing based on one of the Iranian brothers. You know, that you take out this wall, that's the masjid, and you close the other doors and you walk in this one door and you go to the bathroom, right? You go to the women's bathroom and you go to the kitchen and the little living room, and there's a hallway and then there's a mouth. That was a drawing. Brother Mujtaba made that drawing. It was perfect. Okay, we'd have did it something like that, but it probably wouldn't have been as coherent. Okay, I'll try to pick up a little bit. So the first thing that Masjid al-Islam, that Brother Abdul Malik did, was got rid of all of the Iranians. And they was telling me, this guy's a munafiq. I remember Brother Musa and all of that said, this guy's a munafiq. I said, I know. In other words, I knew when he got there he was a munafiq. I knew when he was there he was a munafiq. And I definitely knew when he get rid of all the people that supported Imam Musa, right? And then when you get real popular, they start giving you a staff, right? And then they make you popular on their circuit, not on our circuit. On their circuit. Okay, so all the signs are there. But it don't make no difference because this is what we're doing, and we have found that instead of trying to get rid of all the snitches, just incorporate the snitches and they'll function, and just make sure that you maintain the direction, you maintain control, and when they get to thinking that they're going to take over, then you just chop it on down and they'll be surprised, and that'll be the way it goes. Anyway, one thing about Abdul Malik is he had brought his ex-wife there in 87, and from 87 to 92, he was always trying to get me to marry his ex-wife, which is right down the street, of course. Okay, and I'm the happiest unmarried man. Well, just think, if you know somebody's a snitch, if he's going to get you married to somebody, then he's a snitch too. Simple as that. Especially if she's coming from another assignment of Kwame Ture, Stokely Carmichael's group, the student group, all African revolutionary people, something like that. Okay, and her phony husband then was Kwame Ture's second in command. Abdul Malik is working on her and telling her, those guys are finished. This is the mission. They both police, same neighborhood and all that. So he brings her there. You got to remember, when you used to live in all your life, you're a dope dealer, you're in South America, you're in Africa, people are always trying to set you up and get rid of you. You can smell a setup 500 miles away. You don't never say it because half the countries you went in is the people setting you up and playing around or talking in front of you, and you don't suppose to know the language. You just sit there like a bump on a log. Well, the Nietzsche, who's the Nietzsche? The white boy says, be careful. He's muy inteligente. This nigga is very intelligent. So be careful. You know, this is the white boys, the dope dealers, and the Colombians. So, of course, in Colombia, you know, them old straw brooms. I'm running the whole show in order to make everybody feel comfortable. When all the people would come to the house, I was standing there by the door with a broom. Because if they knew I was running the show, they wouldn't like it. You know, a nigga ain't supposed to be running everything. As soon as them people left, though, hey man, y'all gotta get in line, straightened up. Anyway, and now Oakland growth, a lot of it had to do with Sister Zakia. Sister Zakia is part of the curly-headed crew. The girl we call Halle Berry. Okay. And she looks kind of like Halle Berry did look now. Some of them told me she's kind of chubby now or something, but that don't make no difference. She had a white mama and a black daddy. Her daddy was a dark Negro, I mean super dark. She liked her daddy, so she liked dark Negroes. So therefore, she told Abdul Malik, since she was working in the school's only one student those days, tell Imam Musa I'd like to marry him, and da-da-da-da-da. Abdul Malik told her, no, he won't marry you because your hot pants was too hot up on the campus at Berkeley. Of course, now coming out of our neighborhood, we don't hold that against nobody, right? How you gonna be, you run around trying to get it with every girl you can, and if a girl go and visit everybody, then you say, you ain't good enough. That is really, you talking about sexist? That's dumb. I said, hot pants, that makes it even better, you know, and the hold back. So anyway, so he married her, and she was always calling me when I lived in Virginia, when I lived in Masjid over here, every day. I didn't understand all of what was going on until later. Later it all come out. So Abdul Malik is there in Oakland. He has a team, but his team and the people he knows have no respect for experience and history. Abdul Malik is going around talking about black, 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 black. And I'm the one that all the black people are friends of mine. All the historical personalities, especially in California, are friends of mine. All of them. I mean, the Soledad brothers, you know, that get killed. All these people get shot and killed in this shootout. The people that make a jailbreak, the people that taught the Soledad brothers manhood training, one of my best friends. All of those people are friends of mine, but they're having him go around, probably up to the day, talking about the black movement.
He's an expert.
He's an expert on the black movement, and that means that that's their team, and they build their team. They don't care nothing about knowledge and experience, right? And they will disrespect black leadership. And that's where we cut the bar at. We say, okay, we let y'all play your game, but you ain't getting nowhere on us. Anyway, so no respect for experience, no respect for history, and no respect for establishing Quran and Sunnah in the black community. They don't respect that, and they don't respect the line that we have. So when Abdul Malik comes in, they give him the whole Ikhwan, all the Ikhwan there are behind him. When I wanted to raise money at the big show in Santa Clara, I would tell Abdul Malik, he would tell his friends, the Ikhwanis out there, and they would let me come to Juma and just give an announcement. And shoot, we knock over 10 grand, 11 grand the first time, 9 grand. We raised $20-something thousand just at Juma, because they was his friends. And, you know, I asked the guy one time, Samir, Palestinian, I said, hey man, I'd like to come out and have a little fundraiser. He said, okay, I'll ask Abdul Malik. I didn't say, well, what is wrong with you? I'm the chief, not him. Now see, here's the thing. When you're doing a project, you can't let people's attitude make you mad or blow your own cover or nothing till you get ready. So you have to be able to bear insults with a big smile. You got to play like you don't even know what they said half the time. That's the only way we could get the street prayer and all of them. That's the only way we could trap them and maneuver them. The only way we could get Oakland to act like they acted the last few years is to maneuver them in position. If we would have stopped them and said, hey, I know what's going on, you wouldn't get nowhere. So, what we have to do is, especially in Oakland, Oakland's a little different than here. When we came here with 73 Fiat and books stacked up all over the van, the little Fiat station wagon. So we went to Canada first to one of the Hajj conferences, sold $1,800 worth of books, and then we came here with $1,800 in our pocket and books. And we started going all around selling books. And we went out to Halalco. We said, we want to catch Halalco. We want to be like that or bigger in D.C. So you always choose the biggest, the best, the smartest, and you imitate them till you can catch up with them and then maybe pass them. So that's what we did. Plus we sold Halalco a lot of the books, special books that they didn't have. And I remember it was $982. Now it don't seem like much, but if you ain't got but $1,800, now if you don't have no head and you sell $400 worth of books a week or $1,000 a month, that money adds up fast. Bam, we can buy the Masjid around the corner, and it takes all the heating and air conditioning and remodeling. That takes another 25, 30,000. All that's in books. Then the little property next door that we paid $16,000 for that in '92. That's from books. So by the time we came here in '89, by '92 we done bought the Masjid, fixed it up, the property next door. By 96, 95, 96, we done bought the property down the street. In 96 and 96, we done bought this. And by 98, we up and running, and 300,000 something thousand to remodel it and to fix it and open it. Okay, all of that is off money we raised. Now, we sold, you remember the bookstore, plenty of oil, big drums of oil, best oil in town, and books stacked up to the ceiling. And 6 feet out. Now, it don't add up to much if you just pass it by. But if you think of books stacked on the floor, up to the roof, each one of those books are worth $20. And it comes 6 feet out. That adds up all the way to the roof, all the way down, all the way to the roof. Then pretty soon fills up the bookshelves too. You got $100,000 worth of books. And you got a good turnover. Also, the difference with us is we use books and oil to build up the community, because we was out hustling. We paid for those books. We hustle those books. I sent 40,000, I way more than that. The books in Oakland, I ordered for them, they didn't have to pay for. The books, the oil, I would bring oil from here to them, and you would never know where the money went. I would just want them to be independent and have money. But the people don't know that. The people, Mukhtar was telling the people a few years ago, Imam Musa, you stole the believers' money, you're a thief, you're a government agent, because that's why you didn't do much time. They said that in front of a couple of people later on that was in the pen with me. They said, knock them niggas over. Because see, everybody knows me from Oakland. Number one, I always went to jail by myself. Nobody above me nor below me ever went to jail. So automatically, I can't be snitching, and then I go to the penitentiary. I'm the one that have to run off. Right? I'm the one that have to run off. If you snitching, you ain't going to have to run off. Right? And also, I'm the one with all the knots on my head, and the police messing with you, your children. I would have to be the dumbest snitch in the world because I don't get nothing for it but pain and suffering. So that means I would be not only the biggest snitch, but the dumbest. Right? That all you get is pain and suffering that everybody sees. But the purpose of Mukhtar's purpose was to make me mad. Remember, provocation, to provoke us, to try to make us mad. That was his whole issue. I'm going to try to speed up so we'll finish in an hour. So I will speed up. Here's the point. Since we're going to Oakland soon, what I want to let the people know is that Abdul Malik, Mukhtar, all of those outer-towners that came, remember, the big masjid now is outer-towners there. Guess who's the Imam and pastor? Same one that went to American University, right over there. What does the impression that people have of American universities?
It's like a training for the CIA or something like that.
That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. Now, the imposter Imam,
just like Georgetown is the gateway to the State Department.
of course, yeah, that's what I mean. So, remember I always talked about outer-towners, and they would come, okay, the masjid, the big functional masjid in the Negro community right now is on the other side of town. Mellow Yellow is over there from Jordan. Within a few weeks I'll be calling his name, but in Oakland they know who I'm talking about. Mellow Yellow is over there with all the escapees from our masjid. Right? They're over there, same story. Outer-towners, non-Oaklanders. They come with a staff. They have a house full of people within a week. They're on all the circuits. You know what I mean? All you can see their name everywhere. Okay. And the last time we gave a lecture together was at UCLA. His topic was that the Islamic movement, because we're talking big Islamic movement talk, the Islamic movement is not on-the-job training. And he gave a whole criteria. You have to know 500,000 hadith, and you have to be like Imam Malik or Imam Shafi or something. You know, this is a criteria. Okay. I didn't say this man is crazy, because I didn't want people to, you know what I mean? But it's clear who he's talking about. He's talking about me. He's talking about our movement, who at that time, As-Sabiqun, is big on the campuses all over the country. And it grew big because we let them think we was going right along with them, and Abdul Malik is going all over As-Sabiqun. But everybody's given bayah to Abdul Malik. Not to me. So when Abdul Malik gets ready to go, he leaves, and the imams that give bayah to me, and he even called me to this day. Ain't no, look, I don't care what happened. Ain't nobody call me and ask me if I'm alive. If they read the thing and they say they drew guns at the Masjid, Imam Musa got arrested, went to the jail for being in the Masjid, the pink slip, the deed is in Masjid al-Islam and signed by a slave named so-and-so. Okay. So, anyway, the message to those people in Oakland is that Abdul Malik, Mukhtar and them have no right to be in the masjid, around the masjid, and nothing to do with the masjid. And if they went a few months ago and went into the accounts and the Bank of America gave them permission to put them on our accounts and to take me off all our accounts. Now, Mukhtar, this is the government working with the Bank of America working with them, and they allow, any government agency allow Mukhtar to do anything he wants. He done came in and shot the dogs, you know, the guard dogs, he shot the dogs, it's okay. He come and have me put in jail, and they work you over, and it's okay, right? He can come, he can do anything he wants. The only thing is he failed. He was a maximum failure. Abdul Malik was a failure. They failed in provoking anything. Okay, the reason I don't want them around nowhere now is because the government is on a panic button. Number one, they've been panicked. They've hinted to me, 187s, that's the murder thing in California. The people coming to me, let me know, we'll get rid of them niggas for you. They did the same thing with Abdul Malik. And I told them, I said, man, you're working for the police, and once you become known, and I said, Mukhtar, everybody know you're a police and a fool. I said, the police done gave me permission to knock you over. But I ain't gonna do it. I'm gonna let them do it. Your boss gonna knock you. They got to, cause everybody know you a snitch, and you know all the other snitches. They can't have you running around the street. And then it's the Muslims. The Muslims know, that the real Muslims, you know, that don't say nothing, that they're not a part of them. They know you're a snitch. They know me. I said, the people, the whole state of California, I said, that stuff you put on the internet, I said, them niggas in the penitentiary got phones now. Because my son had a phone, he said, Dad, he called me, I was looking up your latest entry on this, that, and another. I saw all the As-Sabiqun, I saw all the brothers are looking at it, and they up on what's going on. So right now, the whole state is up on that clown. Right? Yeah. The whole state. It don't make no difference. One way or another, everybody know who those clowns are. Okay, now that, since I want to end early, we had to arrange that. How much time do we have?
12 minutes.
12 minutes, okay, what time? Okay. So, when I left Mukhtar in charge, he lived at 8110 MacArthur Boulevard. That's across the street from a lot of our property. He moved to 66th Avenue, then he moved to Berkeley. See, if you live next door, I live up the street, we can do almost anything because we're here all the time. If you live in Gaithersburg, you gotta drive out here. It's like a job now. You know what I mean? You gotta come here, and while you're here, you wanna get back home with your wife and family. That's automatic. Okay, the reason we stay here is because we're right here. Even on a lazy day, well, I'll just cut the grass or something. And I'll do this, that, and that. Before long, you put in 12 hours of work. It don't seem like it. Because number one, you're doing what you want to do. And you're right here. And on a regular work day you can do between 16 hours and 14 hours a day because you're doing what you want. But on a lazy day, you're going to knock over 10 or 12 hours and you're just lazy. I ain't going to do nothing today except this, that, and other. But if it's your job, Mukhtar talking about all of what him and his wife contributed to the masjid. Mukhtar came to the masjid in Oakland for the time he was there twice per week because he lived in Berkeley. And they had a little key at the outside of the door. Everybody could go in and pray. But he came to the masjid twice a week. And he also arranged sabotage and theft and all of that type of thing. So Mukhtar has never contributed nothing. And like I say, Mukhtar and them is different than Brother Tufel and myself. We don't take money from the masjid. All them Negroes got salaries. And all the money in their account during Mukhtar's time, I brought it from here and put it out there. And when they bought this building or that building, when we bought the school building, it didn't cost in those days but $125,000 something. Well, 51,000 of it came from here.
How did they get salary? How did they get salary?
What they just hustle up whatever they, like, for instance, if Mukhtar is running things and I keep the account full, okay, and I give him a box, I said, now you go around and do like I do. He never went around nowhere, but he kept plenty of money. Why? Because if I put $35,000 in the account, then
Get 10%.
you take that and he takes a little, the people put in zakat and sadaqah and all of that. He thinks it. Mukhtar is the only person in United States history that when I gave khutbah, to snatch the box and everybody see him and run off with it. And then call me and say, wasn't nothing but $66 in there. Don't make that difference. Thank you very much for stealing the box and everybody know. What I'm trying to tell you is, those people failed, and I'll wrap it up like this, because I can't talk about all the stuff. Oakland, and this may sound a little braggadocious, but you know, once the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam at Hunayn, and it was, the Muslims had big numbers, and they was arrogant, and they got in a tussle, and the people started running. The Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, I am Muhammad ibn Abdullah. And that, he was talking trash. Y'all remember the hadith? He talking trash, like, hey, I ain't into that. Y'all can run, you think y'all bad, you acting like sissies. I'm Muhammad ibn Abdullah. And I'm going, it don't say exactly, he just left to imagine. I'm going to kick y'all's behind, which he did. Right? Y'all remember the hadith? People see, because we talk about it in Negro language, people think we're making that up. All you got to do is read history. Now, here's what I'm saying about them niggas out there. Those are B-word henhouse niggas. They are weak and they are punks. Why? Because they can't get me to do nothing. And they gonna come up, I'm not bragging, they gonna come up against a nigga that's been fighting the government all his life and ain't got but a few little lumps on their head and everybody else is dead. And them punks gonna come out of the university from the police academy and gonna try to knock you over, and you've been fighting the police for 50 years. That's stupid and that's arrogant. Them niggas, the ones that come out, Miller yelling them, all them, Oakland is full of out-of-towners. All them niggas is punks. Why? They punks because they can't get rid of one nigga. They B-word brothers, hen-house niggas. And the United States government is right there with them. If you can't, if 2% of what I say is true, right? then the rest of it is true. That means them niggas is stupid and weak. Right? That's what I'm saying about what we're doing. We have made classical idiots out of the government. Idiots. It's on paper. That's all of what they come out and do every. I don't want to go over just the last week. The reason I'm still here, I opened a new account, you know, from my check that comes from the housing authority. Huh?
What do we do with the money?
The money they take out of the account?
The money they take out of the account and the money they spend.
We'll get that money back when we get ready.
No,
We're not.
Musa and them. What do they do with the money?
They pretend to spend it, but since they snitches, the government not gonna let them niggas have that much money. So they're holding the money. Number one, they know they're gonna have to give the money back. You see what I mean? They know they're gonna have to give that money back. Okay, it's set up so that the law is so much on my side, it's never happened before. We ain't even worried about it. But we're going to use that. See, everything they do, when you're fighting, can we go a few minutes before 1 hour? Or do we have to stop exactly?
No, you can go before. You can stop right now if you want to.
Huh?
You can stop right now if you want to.
And then I'll continue on the next one.
Yeah.
Okay, we got 2 more minutes. Here's the thing. We have engineered all of this stuff. We're working for the cause of Allah. They study you and they think this nigga is always talking about money. He's always saved money. When we always had him trapped and he always pop up with some more money. And he's never been broke. Khadijah called last time, she said, ha, ha, ha. You've never been broke, huh? Now you broke. Because they think they done took all, they done stole money for the last 3 years. They done stole the money in this hole, stole the money in that hole. And so they said, I said, well, you can keep it, do what you like with it. That's what I meant. You know why? You got them thinking that's where you at. Money. That ain't where we at. Because all the money we get, we give it away anyway. If some of our friends are broke, we give it to them, remember? We give the money away. See, and I sleep down in the basement anyway. I mean, all we want to do with the money is help people, build big stuff for the people. We don't want the money. I'm not going to, you can't tell when we big money or nothing. If we get a big batch of money, you know what I do? I take the kids to the movie, get a lot of popcorn and stuff for 1 or 2 days. I give them a $100 bill each, and then that's it. Party's over. Party's over, you know. So we would like to close with that one, and thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi